Hello, everybody. Hey, Blissful. Hey, Unseen. Um, I want to start this off right, and I hope nobody's offended, but I want to have a toast. This is Fireball Whiskey, and this is going to be a toast to one of the greatest directors, not just horror directors, but one of the greatest directors to ever grace this planet. Here's to you, Mr. William Friedkin. So, it's going to be kind of a somber evening, but we'll try to make it not too, bum too many people out or to bum people out too much. Because when I heard the news today that William Friedkin had passed away, it was just I was like another great one has left us, and I don't know, it just and one of the first things that hey Menelec, hey Alpha Romero, one of the first things I said to Steve after he got home this afternoon, other than did you hear about William Friedkin? Um, I said I shudder to think what's gonna happen to the Exorcist films. Blatty's gone, Friedkin's gone now. I mean, perhaps their families will protect the legacy that is, The Exorcist. At least I hope so. Um, it that was just one of the first things that came to my mind. Um, After the shock of hearing that he had passed had went by. That was the next thing that I thought of. But I'm not only going to talk about The Exorcist tonight. I'm going to talk about some of the other films that Friedkin made, and some of them you may be familiar with, some of them not so familiar with. Some of them I have not even watched, or either that or it's been so long since I've watched them that I've forgotten most of it. But we're going to talk about three of in my opinion, the big ones tonight. And I'll just go ahead and tell you what those are. The French Connection, of course, The Exorcist. You can't talk about Friedkin without talking about The Exorcist. And Cruising. But we will also talk about some of the other films that he made as well. So, well, we're going to get to that. We're going to get to all things Friedkin. And I did notice that Dead Pit is doing their own tribute to William Friedkin. And I'm going to try to attempt to be done so that if people want to head on over to their stream to hear what the guys have to say about Mr. Friedkin. I want to be able to give people plenty of opportunities and plenty of time to be able to do that. So, unfortunately, the hat's probably going to have to come off here in a little bit. I would love to be, and maybe when it gets cooler weather, the fall and the winter, I can start wearing it all the time now. But not right now, I mean, it's only like 71, 72 degrees right now, but the house is kind of heated up all day. So this back room is pretty, pretty humid. So I will wear it as long as I possibly can. Hey, Darren. Darren says, hey guys, I wonder if he got to see a cut of the new remake. Let's hope not. Yeah, let's hope not. I hope that, evidently, from what I read, if anybody else heard anything different, please let me know. But what I initially heard or read was that it was pneumonia and heart failure, basically, that got him. He was 87. I didn't realize. I mean, I knew Friedkin was up there, but I didn't realize he was 87. But he was still in there. He was still in the game, And it's just so sad that we won't be able to enjoy any more movies or hear the guy talk about movies or to talk about, not only his movies, but other directors' movies, talk about other directors. I mean, you can go back and you can watch all that stuff. There's a ton of stuff on YouTube, especially right now. Um, and that stuff won't, you know, hopefully it won't disappear forever and we'll still be able to watch that from a historical standpoint. But we're just not going to get any new interviews with him. He's not going to be making any more films. And it's just a great, not a great, but a humongous, devastating loss to fans of horror, fans of Friedkin's work, um, fans of great cinema in general. Because, like I said, William Friedkin didn't just do horror, or he didn't just do, um, I guess, like suspense type films. He did a wide variety of things. Um, but we're gonna get to all that here really soon. Rich, you say Uncle Bill introduced Friedkin? Um, so anyway, we're gonna get to all of that here in just a little bit. But I do have something I want to show on the Daily Grindhouse that'll make things a little bit lighter, I guess, for us. I just want you guys and gals to get a gander at it. This thing looks absolutely amazing. It looks actually better than I thought it was going to be. So I'll just leave it there. But we'll go ahead and kick off the Daily Grindhouse intro, and then I'll show what I got to show, and then we'll get started talking about William Friedkin. All right. So, what did I get in today besides the new tablet that I showed a little bit earlier? I actually did an unboxing for. But I got my pink varsity baseball bomber jacket, whatever you want to call it. And I've already put a button on it that says I love horror movies. That's the only button I've got right now. But I didn't really want to wear this thing until I get the patches and the other buttons and all that stuff that are just going to make this, I think, amazing. But I'll let you see I'll try to let you see the back of it. Maybe I can get up here and go. There we go. You see the back of it. Flip it over back to the front. So, and it also has like a satin pink lining on the inside of it. It's just like, it's incredible. So anyway, I'm going to hang this thing back up over here. Lisa says, I've been back and forth expecting bad weather. Yeah, we got some, I mean, we didn't get any really bad weather really super early this morning, but we did get some storms. I kept waking up and hearing the thunder and stuff. And it looked really cloudy a little bit earlier, but now it seems to, I mean, it's still kind of cloudy, but it doesn't look as bad as it did. You say, "Oh, I love it." Yeah, I mean, to me, it's exactly, and bless Steve's heart again. He's the one that helped me pick that out. I mean, I'm sure he didn't want me spending what I eventually ended up spending on it, but um, he was like, "Oh, here's this one," because I told him what I wanted, and he, started looking, and then he came across the one I just showed, and I was like, "Oh," I was so excited when I got it in today, because there was a little hesitation with me taking it out of the package, because I thought, is this thing going to be like super thin or, whatever? No, it's just right. It's just right. And I just think it's going to look amazing when I get the patches and the other buttons and all of that on there. Uh, Rooster, you say we're losing a generation, actors, actresses, directors, and the people who made these great films. Yes, we certainly are, Rooster, and they are. Um, we're losing them at. I don't know if it's just because I'm older and I notice it more, but it just seems like we're losing them at a faster rate, and it just really, really makes me sad because and there may be people that get angry with me for saying this, and I apologize in advance, but this is just how I feel. I feel that soon we're going to be stuck with the this current crop of directors and actors and actresses and all that stuff, many of which I don't much care for. Um, you know me, I'm not shy about saying saying that. Um, and that's not meant to piss anybody off or anything. It's just the way I feel about the state of not only horror movie making, but movie making in general. We're losing a lot of great talent at a frightening rate, um, in my opinion. So, oh, again, I told you guys I was going to have to take the hat off. And I probably shouldn't be drinking this because this is probably going to heat me up. Okay, so if anybody wants to come on here tonight and talk about Friedkin, any memories you might have about Friedkin, memories about his movies, something great that he said that stuck with you, um, you know, throughout uh, your life, after you heard it, anything that you want to share. If anybody or if nobody wants to come in live with me, that's okay. But I do like to offer the option to do that, or you can simply, share here in the chat. Darren, you say Dario Argento and John Carpenter are the two big ones left. Yeah. And I'm just so, I mean, every time somebody brings up, and I'm not putting you down for what you said earlier today, Darren. You were just, sharing what you knew. But um, my heart kind of skips a beat a little bit or drops in my chest every time somebody says, "Did you hear about so and so?" You know, um, and I guess I'm on the internet a lot, but I'm not so much, I guess, focused on news related items, and that would probably fall into that category, and some other people are. And so I don't know if it's a subconscious or a conscious thing that I'm doing to try to protect myself from hearing bad news. TJ, you say deaths like this should get people off their keisters. If they want to make a movie or write a poem or paint a house, even don't waste the time you have in this world. Exactly, TJ. You are right on the money there. Blissful agrees. Well, thank you, Rooster. You said that jacket has a great lining, sign of a good jacket. Yeah, I like that it does have that lining in it, Rooster, because, like you say, that's a sign of a good jacket. Because if it didn't have, like, if it was just the fabric on the outside and didn't have that lining, I don't think it would hold up as well. Oh, goodness. Oh, so sorry, guys. Also, I don't know if you guys can see it, but I did get the new eyeshadow palette in, and I put the glittery pink on. Actually, I did that a little earlier today for those of you that saw my live stream where I unboxed my tablet. Melissa, you said the jacket is nicer than shown in the picture. Yeah, I actually think it is. I mean, it looked great in the picture on Amazon, but when it actually got here and I was able to actually feel of the fabric and see how sturdy and stuff it was, I was really impressed. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead. If anybody wants to join me at any point in time during this stream, feel free. If you want me to put the link back in the chat, please let me know and I'll be happy to do that. But I'm going to go ahead and start talking about a few of William Friedkin's movies. Let's say, oh, that's no just pink. That's a beautiful rose pink. Love that color on you. Yeah, I've always been told that pink looks good on me. And I probably should wear it more, but I tend to, being the horror fan that I am, wearing a lot of black shirts and stuff like that. Hey, Mayor, you say it's so weird. I pre ordered the 4K Steelbook of The Exorcist from Best Buy, and a few minutes later, I found out about William's passing. Yeah. But the first movie I kind of want to, and I'm not going to go into real big detail about a lot of these movies. We're just going to talk about them in general terms. I'm not even sure what in the world is on this movie case. I got this one used, actually. But The French Connection, starring Gene Hackman. This was not the first William Friedkin movie I saw. I think actually the first William Friedkin movie I saw was The Exorcist. But The French Connection I saw a little later, but I've always liked it from that first time I watched it. Because here's the thing, Friedkin knew how to direct people. Some directors don't know how to direct people, and it shows. And I know sometimes people would get mad at or get a little upset with Friedkin because of the tactics he used. For instance, Jason Miller got upset with Friedkin because he would fire a gun around people to try to get a reaction to make the film I guess more satisfying for an audience. I guess he wasn't getting what he needed out of the actors, and in some cases, non-actors. For instance, the gentleman who played um, Jason Miller's friend, I think, was an actual priest. He was not an actor. And well, I'll go into more detail on that when we talk about The Exorcist. I don't want to put all my eggs in one basket here. TJ, you say, Dana, by the way, was your Evil Dead video last night a live or pre-recorded? Actually, that was a video I did a while back. And that was when I was planning on having the Patreon. And so I had privated it for a long time. And then I was going through my videos last night. And I was like, I don't need this thing privated anymore. And so I just made it public again. So I hope everybody liked it that got to see it. Mayor, you say I ordered the French Connection on Blu-ray today from Amazon. I figured it might sell out and then the price would go up by the resellers. Yeah, probably a good move on your part, Mayor. Okay. So what is the French Connection about? So, in a nutshell, New York City detectives Popeye Dole, played by Gene Hackman, and Buddy Russo, played by Roy Scheider, hope to break a narcotics smuggling ring and ultimately uncover the French Connection. This is based on a true story, and this won 5 1971 Academy Awards for Best Picture, Directing, of course, William Friedkin, Actor Hackman, Adapted Screenplay, and Film Editing. So, very good film, very dark film, though, in different ways than The Exorcist was dark. But if you've never seen The French Connection, I highly recommend it. Good, like, crime thriller, I guess would be the best way to describe it. Very atmospheric, very gritty, very representative of the time period in which it was made. And this is, I think, an older release. This 20th Century Fox put it out. There's several special features on it. So if you can get your hands on it and you don't already own it, I would recommend this one. Okay, so the next film I wanted to talk about is, of course, the classic, the one and the only, The Exorcist. I don't care what they want to, these other goofballs want to come out with now. This is the one you need to watch if you've never watched it, and if you can handle it, because I know some people are a little put off by possession films, or it gives them the heebie-jeebies. I've said this before. My dad is one of those people that he used to could watch things like this, and now they give him the heebie-jeebies. He simply cannot watch them. Now, I was chomping at the bit when I was quite a bit younger to see this movie. And as I've said many, many times before, my parents didn't much restrict me as far as what I could watch when I was growing up. I'm sure if I had wanted to watch this at 6 years old or something, they probably wouldn't have, allowed me to then. But I guess I was a teenager. I was a teenager the first time I saw The Exorcist. And it was a movie that I'd heard a lot about over the years, but never been able to see it. I had heard my parents talk about it because they actually saw it at the drive-in, and another couple went with them. And I remember my dad telling me that the other couple, the guy, was hiding his face. I guess that's how scary The Exorcist was to them. And I think that, you do have the pea soup vomit scene and stuff like that. But I really don't think that that's what Friedkin was going for, that he was going for a gross out. I think he wanted to make a great movie. I think he wanted to make a terrifying movie. I think he wanted to make a movie where people would sleep with the lights on, right? So, and I think he totally achieved that and more with this movie. And people can say what they want about it. They can say it's vulgar, that it's a gross out, that it's this, that, and the other. But I just don't see that. I see a very well made, um, pretty much psychological horror film that has top notch acting in it, including Linda Blair. I know how people feel about Linda Blair in later years, but the honest truth is nobody, I don't think, can deny that Linda Blair is perfect for this role. And I know there was another actress who supposedly did some of the scenes, like the pea soup vomit scene and stuff like that. But I am pretty dang sure that Linda Blair was in the majority of the scenes of the possession. Mayor, you say, I still need to get Sorcerer and To Live and Die in LA. Right now, I only have Cruising in my collection. I need to get some more of his stuff. I've heard great things about Sorcerer and To Live and Die in LA, and I don't know why I never watched those. I don't, and maybe I saw Sorcerer and forgot about it. I don't know, but I'm pretty dang sure I haven't ever seen To Live and Die in LA. Hey, Coco. You say, hey guys, Dana, I got to rewind. You mentioned an eyeshadow palette, and I'm curious to know what it is. I was shoveling a drumstick in my pie hole because somebody got me to craving one. Oh, and I know who that was. Um, but yeah, the eyeshadow palette I got. Hold on a second. I don't want to get up and leave you guys and go all the way back to the bedroom to get my eyeshadow palette. So I will just bring up. This was something called Spotlight eyeshadow uh, palette, and it's got almost a 5-star rating. It's got like 4.5, and it's got 11,082 ratings. Um, And I can see now, because I'm actually using it. I want to experiment with it a little bit, um, to be able to do like the rainbow shades and stuff like that instead of just doing one shade. Um, but let me see here. Let me see if I can share my screen real quick here. So this is what I actually got. Coco, and it's got a lot of really cool colors. You can see some of the colors there, and you can see some of what I guess people that know how to do this stuff better than me, how they blended it, and did like all kinds of neat things with it. And I'm like, yeah, I gotta have that. So actually, I got two things of makeup, but this is the one I actually chose to use today. So you've got 40 colors on it, and it's supposed to be long lasting and waterproof. So let me stop sharing my screen there. Thank you, Blissful. Blissful says, please hit the thumbs up. Thank you. Coco, you say, and I finally got my hands on a box of drumsticks or Nutty Buddy about 45 minutes ago. Unseen, you say, To Live and Die in LA is a great movie. Blissful, you say, we need to work on a drumstick sponsorship for you, Dana. Yeah. Coco, you say Kylie Jenner came out with the Nightmare on Elm Street palette. So just wondering, I actually do have a Nightmare on Elm Street eyeshadow palette too. I've had it for a while. I have a Nightmare on Elm Street one and also a Friday the 13th one as well. I got it a few years back from um, FYE, I think. TJ, you say, out of the multitude of devil movies in the 70s, Exorcist was a game changer. I agree, TJ. Coco, you said it's a good price for 40 colors. Cool. Yeah, and it's shimmery too. I'll take my glasses off there. Hopefully you can see that. I used the pink shade, Coco. Somebody will come in here and think that I'm doing some kind of makeup show and they'll leave, right? Rooster, you say Sorcerer is a great watch. Mary, you say at Unseen, it definitely is. Me, my mother, and sister went to see The Live and Die in LA when it came out in the theater. Blissful, you say Exorcist is the only possession movie I'll watch. Yeah, I mean, it's the best of the best, I think, if you're going to talk about possession movies. But again, The Exorcist has so much more to it than just this core horror story. You have all of these different interactions and different relationships in the film. You have Reagan's relationship with her mother. You have her pretty much absent relationship with her father. She has the relationship with the exorcist and the priest. Albeit she's possessed, but she still has a relationship with them. And she even has a relationship with the other priest, um, Father Karras's friend, um, at near the end of the movie. So you have all of these connected people in this movie. Um, one builds on the other. One relationship builds on the other. And I haven't seen too many movies that are able to create that dynamic and create it so well that it's not in your face, but you know it's there. You know something's great about it, but you maybe necessarily can't put your finger on it. And that is definitely true of The Exorcist. And I know this is a memorial tribute to Friedkin, but William Peter Blatty, the author of the book The Exorcist, for which the movie is based on, has also passed away as well. He passed away before Friedkin, of course. Um, but his material was so rich that it was just magic when his material and Friedkin's direction came together. It was just like chocolate and peanut butter. And I'm not trying to joke around here. I'm saying it's literally like that. To me, it is anyway. I'd be uh, happy to know what you guys think about it, if you think of it in those terms or similar terms like that. Unseen, you say, I saw it when it came out on video shortly after you did. Loved it. Unseen says the possession of Emily Rose. Yeah, the exorcism of Emily Rose is one that will get under your skin. But I will say that movie is not nearly as well made as The Exorcist. I don't think the characters are as fleshed out as in The Exorcist. I don't feel like the people are as connected with each other as The Exorcist. Um, there's no doubt that The Exorcism of Emily Rose is an effective film, and it means to get under your skin, and it does that very well. It's just not anywhere on the same level as The Exorcist, in my opinion. Coco, you said the pink is pretty on you, very subtle. Sorry, dudes, didn't mean to take it from horror to cotton candy and rainbows. That's okay, Coco. Blissful says, gee, that movie messed me up. TJ says, well, Blissful Evil Dead is a possession movie, LOL. Yeah, yeah, it is. Blissel says, gee, I told you not to mention my counterfeiting day. Yes, TJ, I agree. The Taking of Deborah Logan is pretty good. The Atticus Institute is another one that I find very creepy and effective. So, um, I don't know if there is anybody, at least in our circles, that hasn't seen The Exorcist. But if you have not, even people that watch this video later, somebody might say, well, who the heck is William Friedkin? You know, believe it or not, there's probably people that say, I don't know who that director is. I have no clue. Um, or there may be people that have watched William Friedkin's other movies, but for whatever reason, they have never gotten around to watching The Exorcist. So I would highly, highly, highly recommend this one. I'm even wanting to go back and watch it again. This is the best version, in my opinion, that I have right now. That is until the 4K makes its way to my door. Because this one has the extended director's cut and the original theatrical version. I think this is like the 40th anniversary. And it does have the Friedkin Connection, a memoir by William Friedkin. Um, it has some great pictures and stuff in it. Okay. So the last big one for me that I want to talk about, and then we'll go we'll go over it a little bit with about the other movies, and you guys feel free to add things as we go along. uh, Coco, you say I heard the Deborah Logan movie was darn good. It is, Coco. I would recommend it. Mary say, I'll have to disagree, Dana. Everyone knows that The Exorcist 2 is the far superior to The Exorcist. Well, as Steve says, he loves Pazuzu's Reagan. Um, Blissful, you say, I know curiosity is going to get the best of me and I'll binge watch possession movies. You won't be able to help yourself, will you, Blissful? That's right, Unseen Demi. TJ says, Freakin also did TV, Tales from the Crypt on a Dead Man's Chest. Yes. And yes, he did do the Laura Branigan Self Control music video. He did some other music videos too. Coco, it does seem like Laura Branigan did pass away recently. Yeah, if you Google that and find out, because I could be wrong too. But the other big movie that I want to talk about is, of course, Cruising. And Cruising, I did a watch along for not too awfully long ago. And this is like in a totally, you can't even compare this with The Exorcist or The French Connection, really. This is its own movie. And by the way, this is Steve's copy of the movie. I don't know why I didn't just go ahead and buy one myself, but I didn't. Perhaps I can get one later. This is the Arrow release of it. In case you don't know what Cruising is about, I'll go over this really quickly, the plot. So, New York is caught in the grip of a sadistic serial killer who is preying on the patrons of the city's underground bars. Captain Edelson, Paul Sorvino, as the young rookie Steve Burns, played by Al Pacino, who Al Pacino is fantastic in this movie, by the way, with infiltrating the S&M subculture to try and lure the killer out of the shadows. But as he immerses himself deeper and deeper into the underworld, Steve risks losing his own identity in the process. Taking the premise and title from reporter Gerald Walker's novel, Cruising was the subject of great controversy at the time of its release, It remains a challenging and remarkable movie to this day, with Pacino's haunted lead performance as its magnetic centerpiece. And this is another, like, this is on the other end of the spectrum from something like The Exorcist, right? And again, Friedkin is masterful with this movie. Um, Even if the subject matter is a little odd to you, because it does deal with S&M, it does deal with the gay culture, the homosexual culture, the homosexual lifestyle, all of that, which might not be to some people's liking. But I'm here to tell you, I'm straight as an arrow. I don't swing that way. However, I found this movie completely engrossing, um, just because Freakin knows how to or direct a narrative, and he knows again how to direct actors and actresses. And I don't think he always has to use artificial means of getting what he wants out of actors and actresses. And I forgot to talk about this in The Exorcist, so I'll back it up a little bit. But Jason Miller did get upset with Freakin because he shot guns off around some of the actors. And Jason Miller went to him and was like, "Look, I'm an actor. I'm a serious actor. I don't need that outside stimulation." On the other hand, one of the real priests who played Father Karras's friend in the movie, was, because he's not an actor, he was not able to emote and give Friedkin the emotion that he wanted in the scene where Father Karras leaps to his death out a window. And so the real priest is doing, like, the last rites for Father Karras. And you see in the scene, it looks incredible because his hand is shaking as he's, doing the sign of the cross and all of that. And he's actually, seems to be literally crying in the scene. Well, they kept doing the scene, and Freakin wasn't getting what he wanted. And so he just basically slaps the guy across the face and then has him roll cameras and just has him go right into the scene after being slapped across the face really hard. And he got the results he wanted. So I'm not sure if Freakin did that in every movie he did, or it was just a handful of them, or just one or two, or whatever. And I don't know if he did it in Cruising. However, again, he's masterful in the way he, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but in the way he manipulates the actors and actresses in order to get the shots and get the emotion. And I'm talking about, like, raw emotion. There's a lot of raw emotion in Cruising. And it's, you got to have a great director, and you've also got to have great actors and actresses to be able to pull off what the director needs. Okay. Mary say, you'll definitely need to hold on to the Blu-ray of The Exorcist. I heard the 4K doesn't have any special features except for a commentary. Really, Mayor? That's a shame. Well, I'll definitely hold on to this version. Blissel says, Coco, we don't need Google. We have TJ. That's exactly right. To which TJ says, Brannigan passed in 2004. Blissel says, point proven. Coco, you say, yeah, I was listening to some of her songs a few weeks ago and watched her on Solid Gold. And Blissel says, Coco, so was I. Coco, you say, oh, Lord. I watched Cruising Late one night about 10 years ago. I'd never heard of it. It was weird. Um, yeah, I do believe there was some of that in the bar. Mayor, you say, I definitely remember the uproar with the gay community when Cruising came out. Coco, you say, that's weird, Blissful. I wish they'd upload some better quality Solid Gold episodes. TJ, you say, funny you said that, Coco. I've been watching old Solid Gold eps on YouTube recently. Everybody's been watching Solid Gold lately, it sounds like. Coco, you say, I was shocked that Pacino did that role. Seemed like he would be afraid of the backlash from everybody, really. Yeah, but I guess maybe Pacino was just young enough at the time that, I don't really know what he thought at the time, but perhaps he thought, hey, I'm a serious actor. I can pull this off. And he did. I mean, but imagine what kind of dark places Pacino had to go to be able to pull that off, because he does really seem haunted, and just like the description for the movie says, in some parts of the film he looks like he's literally lost something. Maybe it's his identity, maybe not. Blissel says, Coco, I know, but it's just nice to see them again. Yep, Mayor, you're right. The actor that played Sammy Kerr in Trick or Treat was played by a former dancer from Solid Gold. Coco, you say, cool, TJ. That Muppet Madam freaked me out as a kid. I always had a fascination with puppets, scary or not. TJ says, yeah, Madam was very funny but creepy, LOL. Anybody remember Lady Elaine from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood when they went to the land of make believe or whatever? Now that was creepy. That was a creepy puppet. So some of Friedkin's other movies, and you guys have mentioned some of these already. Let's see. So he did some TV movies too. I guess one of his first movies was The People versus Paul Crump, from 1962. Um, so Paul Crump, age 22, was caught up in a failed robbery. Now, okay, I guess that's technically a documentary. With four other black men, and was sentenced to die in the electric chair. Friedkin so believed in Crump's innocence that he made The People versus Paul Crump in order to save his life. Now, I'm not familiar with the Paul Crump story, so I don't know if it helped or not. So another TV movie he made in 1965 was The Bold Men. Again, this was another documentary about men who are courageous enough to risk their lives undertaking challenges, sports related and not, that are at the limit of human capabilities. That I haven't seen either. So he did an episode of the Alfred Hitchcock Hour. He did a TV movie, Pro Football Mayhem on a Sunday Afternoon. He did a TV series, Time Life Specials, The March of Time. He did another TV movie in 1966 called The Thin Blue Line. So he did a lot of television in the 60s. He did The Birthday Party in 68, The Night They Raided Minsky's in 68. So the birthday party, let's see what this one's about. The down at Hill lodger in a seaside boarding house is menaced by two mysterious strangers who eventually take him away. So Robert Shaw's in this, Patrick McGee. And the night they raided Minsky's, a naive young Amish woman runs away from her home in Pennsylvania to New York City, where she hopes to act in religious stage plays, but ends up performing in burlesque theater. And this has Britt Eklund, Jason Robards in it. Um, and the one that a lot of people have told me I need to watch, and I need to try to find this one, is The Boys in the Band. Tempers fray and true selves are revealed when a heterosexual accidentally intrudes on a homosexual party. Let's see, and of course we got The French Connection and The Exorcist, both which I talked about a little earlier. Fritz Lang interviewed by William Friedkin. Sorcerer from 77. Uh, Sorcerer is an adventure drama thriller. That's how it's listed. So, four unfortunate men from different parts of the globe agree to risk their lives transporting gallons of nitroglycerin across a dangerous Latin American jungle. Roy Scheider's in this one as well. The Brinks Job from 1978. This is a comedy crime drama, a fictional retelling of the infamous Boston Brinks Company robbery on January 17, 1950, of $2.7 million and costing American taxpayers $29 million to apprehend the culprits, with only $58,000 recovered. Peter Falk's on that one. Then we have Cruising. We have Deal of the Century from 1983. Chevy Chase, Sigourney Weaver, and Gregory Hines are all in this one. A small time armed dealer in South America to sell weapons to the revolutionaries winds up negotiating the sale of an experimental plane to the nation's dictator. There's several of these I want to see. Of course, the Laura Branigan Self Control music video, Wang Chung To Live and Die in LA music video. He did an episode of the Twilight Zone from the 80s. To Live and Die in LA from 85. Which a fearless Secret Service agent will stop at nothing to bring down the counterfeiter who killed his partner. And this has Willem Dafoe in it. He did a music video, Barbara Streisand Somewhere. Putting it together, the making of a Broadway album. That was a video from 86. Cat Squad, which is a TV movie from 86. Rampage, I have seen, but it's been a long time. But I do remember it being a really good movie. So, liberal district attorney decides to seek the death penalty for a man who slaughtered a family at Christmas time, then drank their blood. He escapes, though, and starts killing again. This has Michael Biehn and Nicholas Campbell in it. Let's see. Cat Squad, Python Wolf, which is a TV movie from 88. The Guardian from 1990. Tales from the Crypt episode from 1992. Blue Chips, 1994. He did the Rebel Highway TV series, or one episode of it, in 1994. Jade from 1995. I'm not sure what that one's about. So, a bright assistant DA investigates a gruesome hatchet murder and hides a clue he found at the crime scene. Under professional threats and an attempt on his life, he goes on heartbroken because evidence point to the woman he still loves. David Caruso, Linda Fiorentino are both in this. Let's see. I guess he did a remake of 12 Angry Men that has Jack Lemmon, George C. Scott, Hume Cronin is in it. Um, he did a music video, Johnny Halliday, Say K, Jay Sice. I don't know, I'm probably massacring that. Rules of Engagement, The Hunted, Bug from 2006, The Painter's Voice, which is a video, CSI Crime Scene Investigation. He did 2 episodes of that. Killer Joe, The Devil and Father Amorth from 2017. And he just finished, not long before he passed, the Kane Mutiny court martial. So that was his latest. So TJ, you say, I mean, hey, a good roll is a good roll. Right. Coco says props to him. He definitely pulled it off. Exactly, TJ. The land of make believe was nightmare fuel. Coco says, yes, those puppets look like they had shit on their noses. I just couldn't get into Mr. Rogers. Well, all the other stuff with Mr. Rogers was fine, but when they went to the land of make believe, it got freaking weird. Blissel says, I like the land of make believe. LOL. Mary said, I was shocked that Friedkin directed a Sonny and Cher movie in the 60s. Yeah, that's interesting. Blissel says, Mayor, I remember watching that movie. Mayor, you say, Blissel, I Googled his filmography today and was surprised by a lot of the movies he made. Some I'd heard of, but didn't know the director at the time. TJ, you say, I saw Friedkin had a movie finished, The Kane Mutiny Court Martial, based on a play from a 1951 novel, was set to be at a film festival in September. Mary say, I saw The Boys in the Band on cable back in the 80s. Coco says, what the hell? I don't know if any of these movies except for Cruising and, and To Live and Die. Blissel says, I've seen several of these movies. Mayor, you say, I saw Jade, but it's been so long that I don't remember much about it. Blissful says, Mayor, same. I am working on a whiskey shot, Coco. This is, I did a toast of Friedkin at the beginning of this stream, actually. Not apple cider vinegar. No, this is Fireball whiskey. So, guys and gals, I've been on here a little over an hour talking about William Friedkin. He's one guy that I wish I had been able to meet in person. Unfortunately, that never came to be. I don't guess any of you that are in here right now had ever gotten to meet him. I figured somebody would have brought that one up by now. But wouldn't it have been amazing to have met him? In my opinion. Oh, goodness. But is there anything anybody else wants to bring up about William Friedkin before I get off of here for the night? Because in less than half an hour, the Dead Pick Boys are going to be doing their own tribute to William Friedkin. So you might want to hop on over there at 10 p.m. Eastern time to check out what they're going to be discussing as far as Friedkin. And I will return next week, next Monday, with Camp Cronenberg. So I was going to do it tonight, but then in light of William Friedkin's passing, I just thought, hey, let's just do a tribute to William Friedkin. And then I'll have extra time to to watch those movies to discuss for Camp Cronenberg next week. I feel like I'm going to sneeze again. Excuse me. Oh, sometimes that whiskey helps like clear out your sinuses. I know you're probably thinking, dang, gee, you're coming up with excuses for drinking it. But no, but this is going to be my only one tonight. This was my uh, part of my dedication to William Friedkin. But if nobody's got anything else to say, I probably will go ahead and get off of here maybe in a couple of minutes at 9:35. And like I say, that'll give people plenty of time to get on over to the Dead Pit Boys stream if you want to listen to that one as well or watch that one as well. And also, by the way, speaking of the Dead Pit Boys, if you didn't catch the Laura Marie Taylor interview, it was fantastic. So, even if you're just a little bit of a fan of Laura Marie Taylor, you will be the ultimate fan once you listen to that. What a sweetheart. And an amazing interview. And I have to credit these guys once again for being able to put people at ease when they interview them. And I think that is, you know, a testament to why they get such great interviews and why the interviews come off so well. It's because they know what they're doing. So if you missed it, be sure to go over to the Dead Pit channel on YouTube and check it out. Blissfully said, this was a great live, Dana. I had no idea of how many movies of his I've watched. Well, thank you, Blissful. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. I wish it could have been on a happier note that I was doing this kind of tribute to Friedkin. But if he hadn't died, I probably wouldn't have been doing a tribute. But I would like to do a retrospective for Friedkin at some point in time. And Blissful also says the chat was awesome as well. Coco, you say, yeah, that was a good interview. She looked fantastic too. Yeah, I met her a few years ago, not too many years ago, but a few, maybe 2-3 years ago. And she looked amazing. TJ, you said it was a great interview. She was fun. I like she brought up conventions and how the strike is affecting things like that. Mayor, you say, agreed, Dana. That was a good interview that Dead Pit did last night. Okay, so on that note, guys and gals, as I always say, I'm going to skedaddle on out of here for the night, and I will see everyone on the flip side. Y'all have a good night now, and perhaps I'll be back tomorrow with something. I'm just not really sure yet. But until then, have a great night, guys and gals.